morning, or good morning. Welcome to Small Cap Recap. It's probably the afternoon if you're watching this, or the evening. So good afternoon or good evening, whatever time you're watching this, doesn't matter. Welcome back, everybody. We've got a really decent week so far in the small cap market. Not really an overwhelming theme, but the market's just kind of hot. So we're just going to be going through the movers, kind of what I'm seeing right now, because there's a lot moving, but they aren't necessarily the easiest ones to trade, in my opinion. But I think there are some really good benefits of what we're seeing in this market and maybe what to be looking forward to in the near future here and what this could be setting us up for. So without further ado, let's just hop on into the charts. What do you say? All right. So today, again, today's Wednesday, the 24th of May. So ENVB is kind of one of our main runners today, or was one of our main runners to start the morning off. Got a gap up. Here, let me pull up a daily chart on this. So this was a runner a couple days ago, and more likely than not, shorts are just pretty trapped from this. It held up really well after this big gap up. I mean, it started down here at 150, ran up to 450 on that first day. The gap up was right around $2. And the lowest that ever came after that was down to 260. And, you know, even there, that day had such little volume. It traded 1.5 million shares. What's the float on ENVB again? Oh, 1.8 million. Okay, so it did rotate its float once. But you know, there's a good chance that shorts were stuck from this day and are getting squeezed out today. And, you know, with that in mind, with that being a really nice multi-day breakout chart, with that gap up today, with that in mind, even though it is getting pretty stuffy up here in the sevens, you know, I guess we'll see by the end of the day. I wouldn't be surprised to see this retest that, even though it's under VWAP now, you know, falling back down. I think there's still a lot of room for this to bounce and potentially run further, given that it's really a micro float, under 2 million shares for the float. I mean, it's already traded, I don't even know how much volume today, 20 or 30 million maybe. So, I mean, like, this is what I like. I like that we're seeing continuation on former runners. We're seeing that right now on ENVB. We're seeing the multi-day breakouts coming back. For so long, we've had these day one gappers that might stay strong, but don't necessarily, they don't necessarily re-break out with a lot of force, a lot of authority, a lot of momentum. ENVB has a lot of momentum behind it, a lot of volume. Let's see, what's the volume today? 55 million. I mean, it's rotated its float like 20 times, 25 times. Love seeing that. And on the same note, we have something like ZURA. Now, ZURA, a little bit higher of a float, but the same kind of concept. And I think today's intraday action is kind of telling of, you know, this is a worse daily chart than something like ENVB. But the same thing, we're seeing relevance in tickers that previously ran. ZURA ran back on the 11th of May. And we're kind of, I mean, not nearly as much range today. It did get up into the 9s, you know, but ZARA that day went up into the 14s. What I like, again, is that if this continue holding up, we might get a breakout over 14 and a rerun on something like this. I mean, overall, the bounce on ZARA so far is a lot stronger than a lot of these other ones that have ran and then just fallen from like 30 down to $1. You know, I mean, this held up above 5. And we're still seeing strength in it. So if we can start, you know, consolidating near the 8s and 9s in the coming days or a week or so, I mean, this could be a really nice little multi-day breakout chart similar to ENVB. Maybe they put out another PR if we can get some consolidation. That could be a really nice setup. Again, the big theme here is that multi-day runners are looking like they're coming back. Multi-day movers, even if it's not, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, it's the fact that they're holding up and then continuing. And I love seeing that. Now, similar, not so similarly, we have MEOA, which is a SPAC, and it's, you know, just doing its SPAC-like things. Was at $10 earlier today because it, you know, it's been at like $10 the entire time here. Oops. And I hit there. And then today it kind of runs up to like $17. Did a very, very similar move to, I think it was OMH. Where it like had one big push in the morning and then it just kind of dumps down. It looks like it should just completely fall apart. And as that recovery, now it's up 36. You know, it did hit a high of 43.50 at the time I'm recording this, and there's still plenty of time left in the day. This could be one of those crazy ones that goes to 100. but very hard to trade. Very, very tiny float. Likely just a short squeeze, for an intraday short squeeze. So at some point, someone will be probably fully squeezed out, and it might just fall by the end of the day. But it could be an interesting one to keep an eye on if it does close near highs, and if we continue to see this theme of multi-day movers. UTRS, another one today that not quite my favorite. This was a leading gapper this morning, but I'm just not a big fan of these sub-dollar stocks. But we did have a really nice breakout over that 65-cent level earlier. If it closed over there, it could be something. But once again, if this just holds up and re-breaks out again in a couple days, that could be a really strong move. So this is one I'm definitely keeping an eye on as long as it holds up, especially over like today's low day in that 47-cent range. I think it would be really, I think it's important for it to hold like the 40s. That's what I'd say. EEIQ, kind of annoying one. We had some momentum this morning and just kind of faded off now. So there are still gap and craps out there, even though this one did show a little bit more sign of strength. We're fading back down quite a bit from highs. So this was up over 100% at one point today, just fading off. So those do still exist. And I think it, proves that you need to still be very aware of the trades you're in. These aren't trades that you can just buy and not set a risk level. There are still ones that fail quite often and quite hard. So you still need to be smart about the ones you're choosing here to take. GCT right now actually looks kind of decent. I'm looking at this trend right here. We're kind of just breaking through it right now. That could be a nice spot for a pop-up into VWAP here. Really low risk. Again, I know I'm saying this now, but I'd like to see how it plays out after this is all filmed. We are pretty far under VWAP, so the chances of this falling are a lot higher than it running. But it's, again, there's momentum in the market today. So if GCT does want to hold up, let's take a look at the bigger picture daily chart here. Yeah, I think there's a lot of room for it to probably move still. As long as it can hold this, we should have this former resistance turn to support near this 850 level where it's hanging out now, where it kind of has formed support. So if we do get a bounce, this daily chart can run. Actually, that's a really nice daily chart as long as it can recover. It's completely contingent on a recovery. But I want to show you these because these can be really strong setups in the coming days. And I think that that's what is really exciting me about the runners that we're seeing right now. Now, we also do have ones like MBOT, which was really strong, actually not even just yesterday, but a couple days ago. This day right here, this is where I'm looking at. These were just really clean levels. And even though they did do the offering and everything, the midday offering later, the levels here were just so clean and so easy. The risk reward was great. You could have entered here in the 220s risking basically 4 cents, like 4 or 5 cents. And it runs $1. It runs more than $1, but just in that, just a couple minutes, you're already up 20 to 1. It's crazy. That's a beautiful move. And it happened a number of other times throughout the day. We got really tight risk reward. So even though it wasn't necessarily a strong multi-day runner, the fact that that did happen, we saw that type of really clean consolidation with such minimal risk level, or with such a potential minimal risk level at multiple different entry spots, that excites me. And again, we need to be aware. MBOT did still do a midday offering, and it dumped. But the fact the structure exists, and on other stocks we're seeing multi-day runners, if we can get a hot sector, we could see some really, really fun movements in the market. But for now, just keeping this all in mind, we are seeing multi-day movers. There is momentum. But actually for this week, I've actually told everyone in small cap rockets and everything, I'm not really trading much this week. I've just been going through a little bit mentally. So I've always found that it's best to just take the time away. Don't even try to fight that urge. Even when there are movers in the market right now, if this is going to hold up well, it'll hold up until I'm ready to trade. Like, again, I'm seeing a lot that's forming now, but there's still a lot of time for some of this. I want to see some structure develop on some of these day one gappers that we're seeing today. Well, not even just day one, but the ZURAs, the GCTs, and see if we can get more continuation on ENVB. That will only set up a stronger case for some of these other strong movers. So anyways, that is all I've got for today. If you've made it this far into the video, make sure to drop a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment down below on what your thoughts of the market are so far and if this is exciting you. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. So thank you again for watching, everybody. I'll see you back here next week for next week's small cap recap. And if any of what I'm looking at is holding true and holding up, we should see some really good movers into the next week. So fingers crossed, knock on wood, and I'll see you next year. I'll see you next Wednesday. Later, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for being a part of the Stocks to Trade family. We just hit 100,000 subscribers, but our goal by the end of this year is to get 150,000 new family members a part of our channel. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below, hit the subscribe button, and maybe even turn on your post notifications. We cannot do this without your guys' support. So thank you so much. And if you want to see more of what we're doing, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment down below. We'll see you in the next video.